breaking news from CBS 17 News.
Our breaking news coverage from Raleigh continues right now. If you're just joining us, an officer has been shot. One suspect has been captured, and now a manhunt underway for a second person who was involved.
There are at least 3 active scenes at this point, and we have learned Raleigh police have requested the use of a state highway patrol helicopter to help with the search for the second suspect. Our team coverage begins tonight with Michael Hyland. He's live from Schwab and Teakwood, where that initial incident began. Michael.
Yeah, that happened just behind me. We're along Western Boulevard here, which has reopened to traffic, but many of the side streets around here are still closed. You still can't access them. The police department's mobile command center is just on the other side of the hill behind me. That's the area where the shooting happened. We're still trying to learn more information about what led up to the shooting happening, and also more information about how the police officer is doing who was shot earlier this evening. I've been messaging with one of the neighbors who lives in this area on Twitter over the last several minutes, and she told me that she heard gunshots and explosions about an hour ago in this area, and that she and several of the neighbors are trying to stay inside, away from the windows, and they're communicating with each other over social media, try to get updates from one another about what's going on out here. But we are still working to get some more information. We will continue to keep you updated from here at the scene over the next 30 minutes. Live in Raleigh, Michael Hyland, CBS 17 News.
Okay, Michael, thank you. I want to give you some perspective. You can see just how close Schwab Drive is to 440 and Western Boulevard. This is near the old Kmart. This is where the police presence has been. This is where the shooting did occur this evening.
You can see here's a live look at the 440 right now. At one point this evening, the whole interstate was completely blocked off in both directions. It's kind of unclear right now, but we can tell you there's still a little bit of a police presence out there. Those are the blinking, flashing lights that you see right there. The police are still out there.
Of course, they've opened up at least one lane there on 440. Now, our Zach Dahlheimer live in that area right now. Zach, you're near Huntington Drive, and we know there's a heavy police presence, but do we know what's actually happening?
We don't know at this time, but we do know that there are a lot of police officers at this time on Huntington Drive and Du Bois Street. Let me give you a better picture right now. So what we're looking at, we see lots of Raleigh police cars have been out here all night so far here on Du Bois Street at this time at Huntington Drive. We've seen some people that maybe have been trying to drive down here. Some officers are turning them around at this time. They're not letting anyone drive down Du Bois Street. We actually just talked with someone just a couple moments ago who said that she was now able to go back home at this time. But we've seen a lot of areas to where people may not be able to get down there at this time or drive down there, as police are all around this area at this time. Other areas that we've seen have been Western and Pineland Circle. That particular intersection we saw earlier, Raleigh police officers directing traffic, telling them to turn around and to go the other way on Western, away from the I-440, because they had looked like a part of it blocked off down there at that time. So if you're out and about in this area around Western Boulevard near 440, keep in mind that there might be some areas not open at this time. But again, you're seeing a live look here. Lots of police up and down Du Bois Street at this time near Huntington Drive. We heard a helicopter within the last hour flying overhead. It's not flying right now at this time, but again, like you had mentioned earlier, Angela, a very heavy police presence at this intersection at this time. We'll continue to monitor situations and keep you posted with the latest details and any updates we may get within this half hour. Live in Raleigh, Zach Dahlheimer, CBS 17 News.
Zach, thank you so much. The officer involved in the shooting is currently at Wake Med.
And dozens of officers have arrived to show their support. That's where we find CBS 17's Amy Cutler tonight. Amy.
Yeah, Angela, Marius, in the last 15 minutes, we have learned that the red diversion that was in place here at Wake Med has been lifted. That means that less serious patients can now be brought here to the hospital to be treated. Now, we want to show you some video of the scene when we first arrived here at Wake Med. Dozens of Raleigh police cruisers were lining the road up to the emergency room. I had the chance to speak with one officer who says he went through training with the injured officer. He called him a good guy who had had not been on the force long. He said it was important for him to be here to show his support. Other officers telling me people have been stopping by. They too wanted to express their thoughts and prayers and say that they are with the Raleigh Police Department. The Raleigh Police Department tweeting out earlier tonight saying that they are very appreciative for the support that they have received. Again, a tremendous outpouring of support here at Wake Med. We are still trying to learn the condition of the officer who we know was taken here to be treated. At this point, Raleigh police are being tight-lipped about any details surrounding this, but we'll, of course, continue to work to learn more, and we'll keep you posted both on air and online. Angela, Marius?
All right, Amy, thank you. And a lot of people tweeting out tonight to show their support, including Raleigh police. We appreciate all the prayers during this difficult time. We will provide more information as it becomes available. Hashtag pray for RPD.
Now, we want to reach out to one of the witnesses of the aftermath of this manhunt. She has been affected by what's been going on right now. Beth Harkins is on the phone. Can you hear us, Beth?
Yes, I can.
Beth, can you tell us what you heard and what you're seeing out there, and where are you?
Well, I am about a mile, I would say, east or, southwest, actually, of where the shooting occurred. And we have been hearing throughout the evening multiple helicopters overhead. We've been given warnings through our local neighborhood network communities to stay inside and lock our doors. And everyone is complying with those requests. And we've also heard a lot of some explosions earlier in the evening. I'd say about an hour and a half, 2 hours ago now, and maybe some gunshots. We're not sure if they were gunshots or if they were explosions at one point, and sirens. And so we're just watching a lot of helicopters hovering over our heads and hoping that Raleigh police can find this guy.
Well, Beth, you're not at your house, but I imagine some of your neighbors are. What did they tell you about what they witnessed?
I've only communicated with people online. I haven't seen anyone, but most people are telling the same stories of lots of helicopters, some explosions and gunshots, and also people wondering if what they're hearing are police dogs searching the neighborhoods. We're hearing some dog barking, which is unusual for our neighborhood, so we're wondering if that's what that is as well.
How concerned are you right now, Beth?
I'm not as concerned as I was earlier. It seems that the helicopters have moved a little bit away from our area now. We were very concerned for a while. I have a teenage son, and we moved to the interior of the home and got away from the windows for a while with our games and our phones, and just kind of waited it out. But it seems a little bit quieter now. So I'm just hoping that I'm confident that the police are going to find this guy eventually, but it seems to be a little quieter around here now.
All right, Beth, thank you so much. That's Beth Harkins, who lives right outside of the area where this shooting actually occurred on Teekman Place. Again, Beth saying she's unable to get back to her house, but she did hear explosions and that they did hear gunshots in the area at the time that this police officer was shot.
She says the helicopters that she heard earlier are now moving away. She's not too concerned about what's going on right now.
Now, we have Michael Hyland, who's actually at that scene, the area that we were just describing to you. And Michael, has the police presence let up at all in the area?
Only slightly where I am. We don't hear the helicopters out here anymore either at this point. I want to give you a look down here, though. You can see just how many police cars are still. This is Western Boulevard going away from the Belt Line, and this is where they have all of the side streets blocked off along here. So anybody who is still heading out tonight, you really can't get around much in this area at all, even though Western Boulevard itself is back open. We haven't seen as many police officers arriving here over the last hour or so compared to when we first got here between 8:30 and 9. There were police officers coming from agencies all over Wake County, some trying to help out in any way that they can as this manhunt is underway and this police officer is recovering after being shot earlier. I want you to take a look over here. This is the area where just over this hill where the shooting actually occurred earlier this evening, and we have been checking with Raleigh police. We're expecting an update at some point later this evening with some more details about what exactly led up to the shooting that happened out here. But the tone out here, at least at this point, it is a little bit calmer right in this general area. At least we haven't seen as much police activity as we did before. There were police officers searching with flashlights even in this area earlier this evening, but we haven't seen as much activity out here in the last hour or so. Marius and Angela.
All right, Michael, thank you. And you just mentioned an update. We just heard from Raleigh police just giving us information. This is what they're saying. Earlier this evening, a Raleigh police officer was shot while attempting to apprehend a suspect on Western Boulevard near Shop Drive. That's the area you're looking at on the map. He sustained multiple gunshot wounds and is currently in surgery. We are praying for the best outcome.
They went on to say, as you can imagine, this is a very difficult time for the officer, the family, and the Raleigh Police Department. We appreciate all the thoughts, prayers, and well wishes.
And they have one suspect in custody. They are searching for the second suspect with the help of numerous law enforcement agencies. Raleigh police asking anyone who knows anything about the crime or who knows the whereabouts of that suspect to contact them immediately. Again, that's the latest information just coming in from Raleigh PD in a statement given to us, passing that information along to you tonight. Again, they have one person in custody. They are still out there searching for that second person who's responsible for shooting a Raleigh police officer who is in surgery right now in serious condition. They are just praying for a positive outcome.
Indeed, they are. Our Zach Dahlheimer is live in the area where there's still a heavy police presence there. You're near Huntington Drive. What can you tell us right now, Zach?
Well, Marius, I mean, we've seen some people that are trying to drive down there. We actually saw a couple that were trying to get down. They said they live near in this area here, and they said they are not able to get down to their house at this time. Other people that we've talked with say they've had some trouble trying to get back home because, as you see here, lots of police are up and down Du Bois Street near Huntington Drive. It's been like this for the past hour, a little more than an hour since we got on the scene right here. We are not sure exactly what is going on here at this time. We just know that there is a heavy police presence. We saw and heard a helicopter flying earlier about an hour or so ago. And we've seen a lot of traffic areas to where police officers have been stationed as far as directing traffic, some areas that are inaccessible for people driving around, especially the Western Boulevard and or Western Boulevard near Interstate 440 at this time. One area in particular is parts of Western near Pineland Circle. But again, you're seeing right here in this area of Du Bois Street, lots of police cars going up and down, and they're going down Du Bois Street here near Huntington Drive. We've seen lots of people trying to go down Huntington Drive, and police are turning them away right now. So if you do live in this neighborhood or around this area, please keep in mind. We've also not seen really anyone, hardly anyone that living in this neighborhood outside at this time. It seems that no one is outside, or maybe everyone that lives around here is inside their homes at this time or away at this time. But this is a live look now at what you're seeing. Lots of police out here. We'll continue to monitor the situation, and we'll bring you any updates if we come across them. Live in Raleigh, Zach Dahlheimer, CBS 17 News.
Zach, thank you so much for the very latest.
We will stay on top of this story right here on the news and, of course, online at CBS17.com. Stay with us.
Welcome back to CBS 17 News at 11. We'll get back to our breaking news situation in just a second. Of course, as you know, we have another big story we're working on, and that is the changing weather. Yes, it was close to 70 yesterday. I know it doesn't feel anything like that right now, and we haven't even gone all the way down as low as we're going to get. That's going to happen by the time we get to Friday morning, when we'll be around 23 degrees. That is a some 45-degree temperature swing in just a few days. And while the snow chances are stealing the headlines for the weekend, I think the bigger story that is definitely going to impact all of us for a long time are the colder temperatures. Right now, we have all dropped down into the 30s and low 40s. And compared to where we were last night at this time, I mean, that is some 20 to 22, even 23 degrees colder. So that blast of cold air has arrived, and it's going to be even lower as we head into tomorrow. So here's what we have Thursday. As you leave for work and school, it's going to be 28 degrees, but it's going to feel like 20. That's the thing about tomorrow. It's going to be breezy, but not as windy as today. It'll be sunny and dry. It's going to look great outside from a heated room, but even by lunchtime, 38 on the thermometer is going to feel like 30 degrees. Our high of 41, more than 10 degrees colder than today, is going to feel like 34 at its warmest. And then again, tomorrow night into Friday morning is going to be the coldest time period during this stretch. So we are going to need images like this to help give us warm thoughts. Tonight's super sunset comes from last month at Lake Havasu City, Arizona, where they were close to 70 today. Thank you to May for sharing this picture with us. Again, we're going to need warm thoughts like this tomorrow. I put this on my Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook page if you'd like to take a second look. So on to the temperatures. This morning when you left for work and school, it was 45. We already told you it's going to be 28 tomorrow morning, but we're down to 23 Friday morning and still in the 20s by Saturday morning. This stretch will be the coldest of the season so far, and as I mentioned, it's also going to be a breezy day. Not 30-mile-an-hour wind gusts like we had today, but mainly later in the morning we'll see those wind gusts in excess of 20 miles per hour. And then we can turn our full attention to the weather coming our way this weekend. We're still not expecting this to be a major snow event, but a cold rain event with some snow mixing in at times. And the system itself kind of in two parts coming into the west coast, still some 2,300 miles away. But we will fast forward to Friday night when that system will be coming together in the Midwest with both snow and rain. And remember, it's very important where the track of the low pressure goes. So I put this in one of our FutureCast solutions. And I want to remind everyone that we've got dry and sunny weather Thursday and Friday. Most of the day Saturday is also going to be dry. Here we are at lunchtime Saturday, still with dry and chilly weather. Of course, it'll be cloudy by then. And even as we get into dinner time Saturday, where we're seeing a little moisture show up on this, remember, the atmosphere is very dry, and I think a lot of this will evaporate. So I don't think we're going to start to see precipitation hit the ground until we get into late Saturday night. Here into view, once again, is the area of low pressure. It's very important how close that gets to us because, remember, it's bringing warmer rain, and the closer that gets to us, the more it's going to push that colder snow back up to the north. So as we get into the overnight hours, Saturday into Sunday, since that low is getting closer to us, it's going to want to push that rain snow line farther to the north. One concern we may have is, will the rain be freezing rain? Our temperatures Saturday into Sunday morning are going to be very close to freezing. We'll have some cold rain through the day Sunday, and then as the low passes through and we get to the back side of that, on Monday we could get a little bit of leftover light snow possibly accumulating, but right now that is still up into question. So having looked at all that and knowing everything we know about the temperatures and the precipitation, and this is not going to be a system like it was in December, here is our forecast of what we think will happen, again, Saturday night into Sunday. It's a mostly rain event south of Wake County and east of Wake County. It's a mainly rain with some snow mixing in through the heart of the triangle with little to no accumulation. Again, the X factor here will be the freezing rain situation. I think our temperatures around the triangle will be right at freezing, so I don't think that'll be a huge impact event, but you get farther to the north, that's where we'll see a little bit of accumulation. I'm talking around the Virginia border and maybe some problems with freezing rain. We don't think this is going to be a major impact event, but anytime there's snow in our area, it always creates some excitement. We are on top of this. Paul will be back with another update on the snow tomorrow morning starting at 4:30. In the meantime, get ready to bundle up the next few days. Winter is back.
And we continue to follow this breaking news in Raleigh, where a police officer has been shot and is now at Wake Med undergoing surgery. That's the latest information we have from Raleigh PD. We also know that one suspect has been caught. Another is still on the loose tonight. You're looking live at the area where that officer was shot. This is at Du Bois and Teakwood in southwest Raleigh.
We know the incident happened when the officer attempted to apprehend a suspect. We also know that there's numerous law enforcement agencies working together to try to capture that second suspect.
Let's now check in with Zach Dahlheimer. He is live in an area right now that there is a heavy police presence. But Zach, have we been able to connect the dots as to why they're there?
We're still working on that, but you can see there's still a lot of police here on Du Bois and Huntington. A lot of people that we've talked with say they're having trouble trying to get back home if they're living in this area tonight. Joining me now is one of those people who live in this neighborhood, Rodney Morris. Rodney, thank you for joining us. You said you live nearby here, this intersection.
Right down the street.
And what has it been like for you? You said you were having trouble trying to get back home because of the situation here right now?
Just cold. That's about it. Just waiting to hear the word when I can go home.
What was it when you first came back to this area? Because you said you've been gone for a very long part of the day and we're trying to get back home. Walk us through like what you first saw and what was going on here in your neighborhood.
Well, they had the interstate and Western Boulevard closed down and couldn't get any further into the neighborhood than that. And then I went around to the back part of the neighborhood and they had all the other streets shut off, so it's kind of stuck.
All right, Rodney, thank you very much for joining us. And again, a heavy police presence here as well, right here at Du Bois Street, Huntington Drive, lots of areas here all around Western Boulevard and 440. Some officers that are redirecting traffic earlier tonight. But again, as you can see right behind me, lots of police at this scene here at Du Bois Street and Huntington Drive. Live in Raleigh, Zach Dahlheimer, CBS 17 News.
Zach, thank you. Still a lot of questions unanswered out there.
Right, and we know that that officer tonight is at Wake Med where he is undergoing surgery. CBS 17's Amy Cutler is there. We will check in with her after this break. We want to give you another live look at the area where we know a Raleigh police officer was shot today. This is at Schaub and Teakwood. Now, this is near Western Boulevard, but to give you a bigger perspective, this is actually between NC State and the fairgrounds. So a lot of activity there. Again, police on the scene. Several roads are blocked off in that area because the investigation obviously is still underway.
And just minutes ago, we received a statement from Raleigh Police Department. They gave us the very latest information about what was going on. They also said, quote, as you can imagine, this is a very difficult time for the officer, the family, and the Raleigh Police Department. We appreciate all the thoughts, prayers, and well wishes, end of quote.
And tonight we know that officer is at Wake Med and a lot of his colleagues are there with them. We want to check in with CBS 17's Amy Cutler, who has been there all night. Amy.
Yeah, Angela, we know that injured officer was shot multiple times and rushed here to Wake Med. I had the chance to speak with an officer who went through training with that injured officer. He called him a good guy and said he was very dedicated to the job, that he had not been on the force for very long. That officer said he needed to be here at Wake Med to show his support and love for the department and for that officer. And if you're looking at some video that we shot when we first arrived, there were several dozen Raleigh police cruisers here, officers lining the entrance to that emergency room. So many officers from that Raleigh Police Department, of course, the Wake Med Sheriff's Department and beyond, coming here to express their support. Another officer I spoke with said that people from across the city were stopping here at Wake Med to pay their respects, to show their support, to say that their thoughts and prayers are with the Raleigh Police Department. Now, Wake Med had gone into a red diversion. That means that they were turning away less serious patients from the emergency room. They tell me that that is standard protocol in a situation like this. At around 9:45, they lifted that red diversion, meaning those less serious patients are now allowed here at the emergency room here at Wake Med. But again, we are working to learn more about the officer's exact condition. We know he went into surgery to be treated for those gunshot wounds, but the Raleigh Police Department has been pretty tight-lipped about the specifics regarding his condition. We're going to, of course, continue to push for answers, and we'll keep you posted both on air and online. For now, we are live in Raleigh. Amy Cutler, CBS 17 News.
Amy, I have a quick question for you. We hear all the time about the brotherhood, the brothers in blue. Did you feel that camaraderie while you were out there as police started to rush to Wake Med?
Absolutely. I got to say, there were just so many police cruisers that lined the road. It was pretty incredible to see. And even on a cold night, there were dozens of police officers that were lining kind of the entrance door out here. So many of them just wanted to be out here to show their support. It was pretty overwhelming to see just the dedication and love that they have for one another. They know that they have a really difficult job that they do, and there's just that real camaraderie that they have. So it was pretty remarkable to see, Marius.
All right, Amy, thank you. And it's not just the officers who are actually showing up to the hospital tonight. A lot of those are his colleagues, but the ones that are actually went into work after the shooting happened. I have a lot of friends that work for Raleigh PD, and they said, you know what, they need our support on the streets right now because a lot of them wanted to be with him at the hospital. So I thought that was really neat to see all of that.
And we know a lot of different agencies are out there as well. And tonight, Raleigh Police Department tweeting this out. We appreciate all the prayers during this difficult time. We will provide more information as it becomes available. Hashtag pray for RPD.
And again, the Raleigh police officer was shot around 8 o'clock this evening. He is at Wake Med right now where he has undergone surgery. We will have much more on the shooting online at CBS 17 and, of course, on our morning show starting at 4:30 with Tanaya and Russ.